Week 4 sits and starts, the introduction of bye weeks, and why Charles Johnson has all of America fooled. Week 4 of Keepers starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to Keepers. I'm Susanna Collins. We are gearing up for Week 4 of the NFL season, and I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news first, bye weeks commence. It makes things a little complicated. Good news, only 2 teams aren't playing, and one of those is the Titans, so you know, you're gonna be just fine. Here are my Week 4 sits and starts. Start Melvin Gordon. Expect this to be the best outing of Gordon's young career against a Browns defense that's seen the likes of Latavius Murray, Dexter McCluster, and Chris Ivory slice him and dice him like a Ginsu knife through an aluminum can. Man, that still blows my mind. And that other Desmond Bryant's shoulder injury may not help the Browns' cause either. Sit the Rams defense. Even though St. Louis has been one of the 7 or 8 best fantasy defenses so far, as a general rule, you might want to sit a defense when it's matched up against a Cardinals team that scored the 4th most points through 3 games in NFL history. That is called logic, folks. Start Charles Clay against the Giants. Not even John Beeson's return to the lineup did much to alleviate Big Blue's disturbing inability to contain tight ends. So Clay and Tyrod Taylor should continue building on that strong connection they showed a week ago. Plus, with Sammy Watkins' calf potentially limiting him, that could mean more looks for this guy. However, you should sit the guy that replaced him in South Beach, Jordan Cameron. The Dolphins look even more listless than they usually have throughout the Philbin era, and though last year's Week 4 trip to jolly O England helped sort them out under similar circumstances, this year's Jets D is just a little bit better than that Raiders D that greeted them in London last year. Crikey. Start Allen Hurns. With the injuries to Greg Toller and Darius Butler, the Colts have had zero stability or consistency at cornerback outside Vontae Davis. Maybe Butler makes it back this weekend, but if Hurns sees plenty of time lining up across from Julio Brown and Josh Thomas, he should put together a solid game. Sit Doug Martin. Running behind that abysmal Tampa offensive line is basically like throwing him to the dogs. Tough to see them getting much push against a feisty Carolina front 7 that welcomed the return of star Latulele last week and may very well get back all-pro middle linebacker Luke Kuechly. Running room is going to be tough to come by. Buy low on Jeremy Hill. Hill temporarily earned his way into Marvin Lewis's doghouse after losing a couple of fumbles against the Chargers, but don't expect that to last for long. Winter is coming, and as the season wears on and the Ohio weather turns cold and snowy, Hill will become a White Walker and re-emerge as a focal point of Cincy's offense. Sell high on Chris Johnson. He's actually resembled CJ2K in putting up over 220 yards from scrimmage over his last 2 games, but maintaining anywhere near that type of production is a long shot at best. Andre Ellington will soon be returning from his knee injury, and Bruce Arians is too smart a coach to not get good-looking rookie David Johnson more involved as the year moves along too. Buy low on Roddy White. He has been ghosting us the last couple of weeks, and though his days of garnering Pro Bowl nods waved farewell to him a while ago, he's still a totally competent and crafty possession receiver for Matt Ryan who will come around to put up some respectable numbers. Sell high on Steve Smith. Though no wideout has been better over the past couple of weeks, he was outstanding for the first 6 weeks last year too, before his production cratered as he couldn't really handle the rigors of the NFL down the stretch. Now, another year older, that's likely to not change. Hire Carlos Williams and fire James Starks. Already playing awesome football this year, Williams is only going to see more work with Shady McCoy likely to miss this week, and who knows how long that bum hammy of his will hamper him. But either way, Williams is going to be a steal to add to your team. As for Starks, Eddie Lacy's getting back to full health, and when he is the bell cow of that Green Bay ground attack. Which explains why in Stark's last 28 games, he's only topped even 50 rushing yards just 3 times. Hire Rashard Matthews and fire Charles Johnson. Matthews has been one of the very few bright spots for the Dolphins this year, and he's a top 10 fantasy wideout thus far. So it just seems foolish to let him float out there without a home on a fantasy football roster, especially when somebody like Charles Johnson is wasting roster spots all across the nation in most fantasy leagues. It's mystifying. Now, I mentioned dropping him last week, and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face and he's no longer owned in a majority of leagues. Don't let the fact that he's been starting for Minnesota fool you either. They're turning into token starts as he was relegated to the sidelines for 3/4 of Minnesota snaps last Sunday. We are on to Charles. There you have it, guys. Again, just a reminder that the Titans and the Pats are not playing this week, don't do anything stupid. This advice comes courtesy of the gal who prophesized the Chiefs' wide receiver touchdown drought coming to an end last week. Just saying, it's the power that I have. You're welcome. Set those lineups. See you next week.